this episode, we are going to rewind the clock back 6 years and take a look at a forgotten two-part episode about monsters. So, stick around. Hello, fellow dorks and dorkettes, and welcome to Nostalgia Syndrome Rewind. My name is Rob, and we are continuing our March of the Monsters theme with a look back at a 6-year-old two-part episode that I did about Dungeons & Dragons First Edition Monsters. I titled this originally WTF D&D Monsters because these are some really odd and off-the-wall entries from the early days of Dungeons & Dragons. After 6 years, they still leave me asking the question, WTF? So, now, to be honest, I get a little bit of flack every once in a while for releasing greatest hits episodes, but I feel like if I do this, newer viewers can watch some of the older content that kind of gets forgotten and lost in the sauce. I mean, I've been doing this going on 8 years now, so I have a lot of content just floating around out there, and if people don't know where to find it, they're not going to see it. So I just like sharing the early days of the channel, and I like looking back to see how far I've come in those years. So I do apologize if this is a rerun for you and you've already watched the original, but if you haven't, or you just want something to watch, take a look at this episode, because it's 2 parts in one. So I'm sorry for the runtime, but you're getting 2 for 1. So anyway, let's hit the rewind button. Before we get started, let's go over a little bit of the history of the books I used to come up with this list. Released in 1977, the Monster Manual was the second part of the new Dungeons & Dragons releases, and it was the first hardcover gaming book ever released. Well, according to TSR in their introduction in the beginning of the Monster Manual. The 3 core monster books were the Monster Manual from 1977, The Fiend Folio from 1981, and Monster Manual 2, released in 1983. The Monster Manual is a collection of monsters, races, and animals that originally appeared in various rulebooks, campaigns, and source books and magazines since D&D's creation in 1974. The Fiend Folio was a collection of creatures, demons, monsters from the UK's branch of TSR. A lot of the entries originated in the magazine that would be known as White Dwarf. Some were even reader-submitted from different open calls to fans that the magazine held. Monster Manual 2 was another collection of odds and ends from various books throughout the TSR library. To be honest with you, this became a bigger undertaking than I could have ever imagined. When viewer Yabba Dabba first mentioned doing an episode like this, I found it very hard. I love every monster and every creature that was ever created in Dungeons & Dragons, in one way, shape, or form. So, the first list that I made months ago, it was very hard for me to put a stamp of weird, WTF, odd, crazy, silly, whatever on the monsters. But As I took a couple steps back and I worked on a new list just recently, I couldn't stop myself because I tried to look at it as, what the F were they thinking? Before we get started, here's a quick disclaimer. And without further ado, here are the top 40 WTF monsters from the first edition of Dungeons & Dragons. Number 40, the Sturge. Now, what makes the Sturge a WTF monster? Well, the fact that these are bat-winged lawn darts that come flying at their victim and stab them with their proboscis and suck their blood. The fact that they attack in groups means that you could be stabbed a dozen times by these little suckers and they're all over you. The only way you can get them to detach themselves is to kill them. To me, that's just downright creepy, and this picture doesn't help. Number 39 on the list is Carbuncle. Now, this creature takes its name from a medical condition that is pus-filled bumps that collect under the skin. But what makes this creature really weird is that it's pretty much just a jewel-encrusted armadillo. Now, that might not sound that weird, but located within the creature's forehead is a large gem that could be worth a lot of money. But if you kill the creature, the gem will self-destruct for the most part. So what you have to do is plead with the creature to have it give you the gem. Now, that's just odd. I mean, it sounds like something that was created for just a home campaign and just thrown into the book. I can't really see it happening that often in the universe, but I guess if it does and you end up being richer, good on you. Now, number 38 on the list is the Varghuli. Now, what makes this creature weird is that it's nothing but a flying head. It has a 3-foot wingspan of bat wing, and in the center of it is a fanged maw of a face with writhing tentacles all around it. Now, that does sound kind of cool, but let's be honest, if you saw that thing flying at you in the middle of the night, you definitely would say, WTF. Now, number 37 on the list is a brain mole. Just imagine a 3-foot long mole, which by itself could be pretty freaky. But this mole feeds off psychic energy. When it comes across somebody using psionics or even magic that has psionic properties, it will mentally burrow into their brains and attack them. Now, there's a chance that this thing will drive you permanently insane. The only way to stop its attack is to kill it dead. Now, number 36 on the list is Asco Mold. This creature is the pure definition of WTF. It is a round fungi that can range from 5 feet to 10 feet in diameter. It rolls after its prey, and it doesn't tire for hours. Across its leathery surface are holes which it emits jets of spores. The spores shoot out in a 1 foot by 30 feet stream that when you are hit by them, you need to make a roll versus death from the poison. And that's not even counting the damage you take if these things knock you down and run you over. Now, number 35 on the list is Grey Ooze. Now, all the monster manuals and fiend folios and the such are filled with different slimes, oozes, puddings, and jellies. But what makes the Grey Ooze even scarier is that it is intelligent. Having an animal-like intelligence, the Grey Ooze looks like nothing but wet cement if you come across it. It can corrode metal at a quick rate, and if you happen to be having chainmail, it can get through that in 1 round. Now, the only way to destroy these things is with lightning. Unless you have a wizard in your group or someone that can wield electricity, you are screwed. Now, number 34 on the list is the Seaful, if that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, that's just an acronym for Colonial Insect-Formed Artificial Life. Now, if you've read comic books, this is nothing new to you. It's a lot like the Marvel character Swarm, which is that it's a man-sized creature made from hundreds of thousands of insects. It cannot be attacked by melee weapons because it just breaks apart. It's hundreds and thousands of insects. And if you're asking yourself what makes this WTF, it's hundreds of thousands of insects. Now, number 33 on the list is the Squealer. Now, what makes this creature really weird is, just imagine, if you will, a gorilla-sized monster with a long, pig-like face. In its mouth are rows upon rows of razor-sharp teeth. It haunches over like a gorilla with long, spindly arms with claws on the end. It has claws on its hind feet, and protruding from its back is a fifth limb. With this limb, it can dangle from trees and drop on its prey. But it gets even better. It has the ability to mimic almost any sound, either that be the distress calls of a party member, the death cries of an animal, or the mating call of a bird. It has the ability to do that so that it can lure people, other creatures, in and eat them. Yeah, eat them. Now, number 32 on the list is the Bowler. Now, I know, the Bowler, right? What could it possibly be? It's a large living rock, round in nature, that rolls down hills and squishes people and knocks them off mountaintops. Pretty simple, pretty deadly, pretty WTF. Now, number 31 on the list is something that was created just for a rhyming scheme, and that is the Flail Snail. But not to be made fun of because they just simply made a creature with a name that rhymes. They went all out. The Flail Snail is a large creature that is about 8 feet tall. Imagine a normal snail, but instead of its head coming out of its shell, it has 6 to 8 clubbed, spiky flails. These flails move constantly, and when the snail flail gets chugging, it will kill anything in its path. But they didn't stop there. In order to kill the flail snail, you need to kill each one of the 6 to 8 clubbed heads or whatever are coming out of this thing. So it kind of has a Hydra effect in that regard. And again, not to be outdone, what to do with its shell when they created it? Make it magic resistant. But just imagine, if you ever were to kill one of these things, its 250-pound shell will net you 2,500 gold. Now, number 30 on the list is the Froghemoth. Yes, you heard me right, Froghemoth. So let's take two words and mash them together. That would be frog and behemoth. Now, this tentacled creature is 18 feet long and 10 feet wide. You'd think a creature that big would have a hard time hiding, but no! It waits to pounce on its prey in the middle of a swamp. It uses its 10-foot long barbed tongue to grab onto its prey and try to swallow it whole. The makers of this creature knew they had something special when, in its actual description, it says it's weird. And it actually has rules for being digested by it. Now, number 29 on the list is the classic Zorn. Now, the Zorn is a creature from the elemental plane. When they make their way to our realm, they live in dark caverns and eat rare minerals. If you ever were to find one and attack it, it would use its turn to rearrange its molecules and shift through the stone to try to get away from you. Now, it doesn't sound that scary, and it really isn't. But just take a look at this thing. That alone is WTF. Now, number 28 on the list is the Disenchanter. The Disenchanter looks like a camel with an aardvark's head. Yes, you heard me right. That alone is what the F. because there's nothing to fear about the Disenchanter other than it's gunning for your magical +3 sword you just picked up. Now number 27 is the Eustalagore. The Eustalagore is a fungi with an unrateable intelligence. It looks like a brain with stubby little legs and kinda slimy ribbon-like tendrils that come out from it. It's these tendrils that you gotta worry about, because if it would entangle you with them, you take an acid-like damage that, if you don't save versus poison, will continually burn. Number 26 on the list is a giant slug. Yes, a giant slug. Doesn't really sound that scary, but look at this picture. That is the thing of nightmares. Number 25 on the list is the Bassaron. These 6 to 7 foot tall fungal monsters have leathery wooden appendages. On the top of its body, it looks like an upside down umbrella or a bowl that's filled with black spores. Now, these spores, if you don't make your save versus poison, will clog your respiratory tract and you will die of suffocation within 5 rounds. Unless somebody cures you. It can also puff out a cloud of 20 feet to 35 feet that anything caught within it has hallucinations. Number 24 on the list is the Garbug. This one's pretty simple. It's a 9-foot long lobster with butterfly wings. Enough said. Number 3 on the list is the famous Roper. And I don't mean Stanley Roper from Three's Company. Now the Roper is a 9-foot tall, 3 foot wide, and as the book says, a mass of foul, festering corruption. This tendril beast wants to entangle you and pull you towards its toothy maw. Pretty simple, pretty messed up, pretty classic. So for number 22, what do? They go back to the drawing board and make the Stroper. So how could you make the festering mass of corruption even better? Make it out of rocks. And there you have the Stroper. And now we're at number 21 with a creature that was probably made by a 6-year-old, and that is the Gorilla Bear. And as the name says, the Gorilla Bear is nothing but a gorilla with bare paws and teeth. It uses its big paws to knock down opponents and claw the crap out of them. Yeah, like being a gorilla by itself isn't scary.
Your dungeon master has placed you in a dreadfully precarious position. You're playing the most phenomenal game ever created. Your skin grows cold from your first glimpse of the enormous beast. It's a product of your imagination. Survival depends on a quick, decisive move. Your choices are limited. Stand and fight, or run. Use your lightning bolt. Victory is yours.
Win the treasure.
TSR Hobbies, Dungeons and Dragons game. Products of your imagination.
Number 20 on the list is Larva. And I know what you're thinking. Baby bugs, right? No. That would be way too simple. In the world of D&D, a larva is a selfish soul that has been banished to hell. And it's pretty much just a worm with a human head on it. There's no fear that these man-sized creatures will attack you, I guess, unless they want to steamroll over you. But they're just like a flourish thrown in that didn't really need its own monster write-up. It could have just been text. I mean, it's pretty weird, and frankly, it's useless. Number 19 on the list is the Babbler. Now, the Babbler is pretty much just a smaller T-Rex, but it just happens to crawl on all fours, and then when it attacks, it goes up like your classic T-Rex to attack. In my opinion, if you're going to do a campaign with one of these, just throw in a T-Rex. I think your players would probably be a lot more excited to relive their Jurassic Park memories than to deal with this stupid thing. Now, number 18 on the list is the Oblovax, and what it is a mold that will appear in humanoid form, and it feeds off of memories. That could be pretty cool. Get your players mixed up, get them turned around, have them have an amnesia, if you will. But what makes this truly WTF is, if you want to regain your memories, you need to eat it. That's right, this black fungus moss dude you have to eat. And with this expression, I just wonder if it would shriek out in terror. Number 17 is the Kamadan. Now, one of the most freakish creatures in D&D, but it's a classic, is the Displacer Beast. The Displacer Beast is a black panther with like hooked tendrils that moves out of sync with our reality. So you never truly know where it's at because it's always about 3 seconds behind or ahead. Really neat monster that will never appear on a WTF list. But this thing will. It's pretty much just a jaguar with snakes protruding from its back. So it's kind of the same except more stupid. Number 16 on the list is the classic gelatinous cube. Now, I had trouble adding this to the list because of just how iconic and classic it really is, but come on. A big Jello's Wiggler coming down the hallway at you, not scary. But honestly, it is, because the Jello, if you will, that makes up its body is very acidic, and once you're absorbed into it, it'll digest you in a few days and just expel the parts that it doesn't eat. Number 15 on the list is the Morkoth. Now granted, the Morkoth really isn't that bad of a creature. It lives under the ocean in the darkest depths and will attack and eat anybody that enters its realm. Now that's pretty cool. But what makes this a WTF monster is just how it looks. And a lot of that falls on this artwork. So that aside, it's not a bad creature, but this picture just really sinks the ship. Now number 14 on the list is a sheet phantom. And yes, this is your classic ghost with a sheet over it that will come and get you. There's something that can be said about the story elements that this monster could bring. But in all honesty, just a sheet ghost floating around, not scary. Especially when you think of Charlie Brown with the sheet with all the holes in it. Yeah. Kind of takes the scariness out of ghosts. Number 13 on the list is Lava Children. This is definitely on the list because of how they look. These little, chubby, childlike creatures, yeah, they have a perpetual smile on their face as they try to track you down, and just their get-up. I mean, I don't know if it's just me, but it really looks like Charlie's 27 from the original Guardians of the Galaxy. But everything between its boyish good looks and its overalls, just WTF. Number 12 on the list is the Zarin. Yes, this is just a carbon copy of the Zorn that we saw in last episode, but the difference is it doesn't run and hide if you were to surprise it. No, this one will try to track you down to eat your precious metals and your swords and armor and all the cool crap that you carry. It wants to eat it. So it doesn't really attack, but it just kind of hangs around and begs for money like a bum. So, no. Lame. Number 11 on the list is a Gore Bell. This is on the list again because of its art choice. Hanging onto your back and looking more like, hey buddy, what's up? Not scary. These red rubbery creatures are irritable, mischievous, and fickle. Yeah, it attaches to you and just kind of hangs on and attacks. I mean, yeah. Guess in some aspects that could be pretty cool, but once you team that up with this picture, it blows all cool credibility out the window. Number 10 on the list is a Flumph. And yes, you heard that correctly, Flumph. Now these little gas bags suck in air and then expel it to propel itself around through the air. And when it does hover above you, it attacks by dropping down and stabbing you with its nail-like appendages on the underneath. And I don't mean like nails, I mean like nails. It has spike protrusions that will stick in you, and that's about it. Now number 9 on the list is another classic monster, and that is the Atyug, or Neo-Atyug, which is just a bigger and smarter version of an Atyug. But what makes an Atyug WTF? other than its design that we've seen 100 times before of flailing tentacles, a single eye, and just a sloppy body, is the fact it eats poop. Yes, the Atyug is known to frequent sewers because it lives off of excrement. So, one thing that is nasty about it is if it bites you, you'll become infected and, you'll get gangrene and all that wonderful stuff, all because it eats poop. Number 8 on the list is a creature straight out of nature, but unlike what the disclaimer said of animals, I have to throw this on because they totally go into left field, and that is a carnivorous flying squirrel. That's right, you heard me. A carnivorous flying squirrel. Just imagine how awesome some episodes of Rocky and Bullwinkle would have been if Rocky was a carnivorous flying squirrel. But anyway, just the fact that this cute little critter will come swooping off of a tree at you and latch itself onto your face and try to gnaw away while it's eating you. Yeah. I mean, kind of creepy, but what the F. Now for number 7, the pterofig. Let me consult the book, because I want to get this right. Let's listen. This 7-foot tall, naked and hairless humanoid is human-like, but there are significant deviations from the human form. The creature has 3 heads, of which the outer 2 are featureless. The middle head has 3 large, deep inset eyes, 2 in the front and 1 in the rear. It has ear-like organs on each side, but no mouth. From the body of this creature spring 3 arms. The 2 at the shoulders are joined in a way that they can attack to the rear equally as good as the front. These are prehensile limbs with a 6-inch long spike at the end of each, instead of hands. The 3rd arm, emerging centrally from the chest, is like a human arm, except that the hand has 3 strong fingers. Of the creature's 3 legs, the outer 2 are stumps, and the central one has 3 unusually long and strong toes. Its mouth is located in its belly below the central arm. This is for the sole purpose of eating. The creature's favorite diet being decaying flesh. Above the mouth are 3 3-inch long tentacles, which writhe continuously. The function of these organs is unknown. I know their function, just to be really freaking weird. Number 6 on the list is yet again another classic monster that I kind of feel bad about adding to the list, but let's just take a look at it. The Intellect Devourer. Now, this is a very, very deadly monster. It has powerful arms and legs like that of a lion, but its body itself is a giant brain. So, when you're staring at it dumbfounded, it will pounce on you like a ferocious animal. But still, that brain thing, what the F? Number 5 is the Gibbering Mouther. Granted, it looks like something from an H.P. Lovecraft novel. The Gibbering Mouther is just a collection of eyes and mouths in a gloopy, slimy body. Could be really cool for an adventure, but I mean, let's be honest here. It's nasty, it's dumb. What the F? Number 4 on the list are Crabmen. These are a little less cool of the crab people from South Park and a little more dumb. I mean, let's look at what they look like. Now, these dudes live by the seashore and they only come out to, attack a village, to plunder, and to possibly bring a woman home to mom for dinner. Totally, could be cool. But just how they look, yeah, they really botched this one. Number 3 on the list is a Thought Eater. Now, I kind of struggled with adding this one because it is slightly maybe can be based on Australian myth, but let's face it, with how this thing looks, I mean, it's a skeletal platypus, which is really neat, but being neat alone just doesn't cut it. I mean, you really have to look at this thing and say, what the F? Number 2 on the list is one of my personal favorites, and that is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Now, the one thing about this is, this has 0 to do with a wolf, 0 to do with a sheep, and more to do with a tree. This is a living stump, that its roots are tendrils that allow it to propel itself and attack people. Now, it lures creatures in with this cute and fuzzy bunny on top, kind of like an anglerfish, and it's a really cool and deadly creature, but it's one of those things of you need to have a certain adventure, a certain point to use this thing. This just isn't a random encounter. Well, I guess it could be in the forest. Like I said, I think this thing's really cool, but there's just something about it that makes me say WTF. Now, number 1 on the list, and granted this is in no particular order, is a grell. Yet again, capitalizing on the whole brain creepy thing, the grell has a beak like a bird, well, more like a parrot or something, or even an octopus, and tendrils. We just love the tendrils. I mean, it's deadly, it'll attack you, it'll eat you, but just that brain thing, just what were they thinking when they created this? What? A brain? Come on now. Okay, we're back to the present, and I hope you enjoyed that episode. Like I said, I do this because I want the newer viewers to see some of the older content. Yes, it's being a bit selfish on my part, but I think these are some really fun episodes that didn't really get a lot of play when they were released because I didn't have the subscribers that I have now. So I think what better way to reintroduce these different topics in videos than to rewind them, mash them together, and re-edit them just a little bit. So yes, they lack the polish that I have on my newer videos, but I think that they are a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed them and had a lot of fun. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say, please leave a comment. I love reading them, and I love getting back to everyone. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this, or any of the episodes that YouTube is recommending down here, please hit subscribe. And if you hit that little bell icon, you'll be notified whenever there's new episodes. So anyway, until next time, thanks for watching. Keep being rad, and stay dorky.